Welcome to Point to Rise, your podcast that gives you permission to dream big, take messy action, and turn your talent into profit while turning your back on perfection. My name is Susanne Christy, high performance and mindset coach, former international ballerina, profitable entrepreneur, and founder of Point to Rise, a movement designed to empower dancers. It is my mission to use my own story as an inspiration for today's generation of dancers. And now sit back, stretch, warm up, or sip your coffee and love learning how much it matters to point at yourself first to rise to all that you are capable of.
And we are back. Good morning, Christy. It is an early Monday morning today. We are going to talk about showing up authentically versus belonging. And that really came out of, or the inspiration for that came out of a 2-day workshop that I was just recently and listening to amazing human beings that really have asked themselves the question if they could surrender enough to be themselves and have made it their priority to do that every single day. But before we start that, how are you? How was your week?
My week was great. Yesterday, we officially launched a couples retreat in Costa Rica with my husband and I, hosted by my husband and I. So I'm super excited. We've kind of been tight-lipped about this for a few weeks in preparation, but I'm really, really excited. This is a really fun way for the two of us to collaborate, and we've had such a wild ride in life that we are at a point where we feel like it wasn't just a reason for us to grow. Now it's time to, put it into some sort of package to be able to share what's just strengthened us in most every obstacle that would have broken up a relationship and a marriage and all of the things. We've had almost about everything you can imagine to challenge that. And it's time for us to share that with others and put it in not a heavy setting, in a beautiful setting, in a beautiful house in Costa Rica, where we're going to have adventures and experiences too. And then, get a little more centered and find ways to maybe connect or communicate with your partner or spouse that you aren't currently doing that could really strengthen that bond. So I'm just really excited to create in this space and bring people to such a high vibe area to do it. It's just really exciting. So I'm happy with that.
Oh, I am so happy. When I asked you the question and I got the DM, I was like, yes. They're doing it. So go check it out. Actually, if you're in a relationship, this is something that it's so important, right? To nourish your relationships over and over and over again, regardless on how short or how long you are married.
Yeah.
I personally, just going back, what came up for me right now, I never saw people around me really investing into their relationships, meaning putting themselves into uncomfortable situation, not being happy with where they're at, but understanding that there always will be growth. Mm-hmm. And how can you support that? And I think it's so beautiful that, you creating that space to have that. So
yeah. And it's pretty intimate too. So we're only having 4 couples come along with us. So there'll really be, an allowance for an intimate setting with this. So yeah, very exciting. Okay. And what about you, besides your beautiful mastermind that you had this week?
Yeah. So once again, that usually brings up a lot of gunk.
Yeah.
Just from the energy from other people and the topics that we're talking about and all the vulnerability that's being shown. So there was a lot came out. And it manifested itself physically in my body. It was very interesting to watch. I could hardly breathe at times because I had either put out a rib or there were some muscle strains that had completely seized up. Hence, I didn't sleep for a whole week. So I was working through that. And there's one thing that came up for me over and over again. Somebody in the mastermind asked me in the breakout groups, well, do you know how powerful you are? And I got so mad. How dare you? You don't even mean this. I was deflecting her kindness and her love so much when she asked me that question. I was literally fighting for life and death for my limitation to stay where I'm at. And that was really interesting to watch what came up, like this big chunk of something sitting in my throat, not wanting to move out or back in or anything like that. So yeah, some work to do. Yeah.
But that's the beauty of putting yourself in those situations, is sometimes it takes a setting like that to even understand what's there, for it to be, triggered and loosened up enough to come up to the surface and play a little bit. So that's the beauty of finding growth and always challenging yourself and putting yourself in new settings so that you discover more of yourself.
So 1000%. And I would say for me personally, it's always, if I'm not in a setting that is uncomfortable, the stuff just doesn't come out. It literally needs to be scared out because it's really comfortable in there. Like a little kid, around the corner. Yeah. So that was me. However, I woke up today and I feel like, what was all of this about? Like, I feel so much bigger and taller and more like a lion than a little kitty cat today. So I think allowing ourselves to work through these things and even being okay with the physical manifestation. Like, I was certain that I didn't do anything in the gym that would have brought this on. It was completely a mind manifestation. And it brought me back to all of these times that my body was injured when I was dancing and how my mental health truly reflected itself in my physical health. Yeah, it was just eye-opening. And I wish that I would have known more about it back then. And that's why we're here. This is why we're talking about it, because you don't know what you don't know. If you're not listening to something that makes you cringe, that even makes you, I don't want to say angry, but it makes you react like, oh, what are you talking about? That's not true. That is your sign to say, I really should choose to dig a little deeper into this. Which brings me to our topic today. So Kathy Heller, I don't know if anybody knows her, but I have completely fallen in love with that woman. She used to be a songwriter. She wrote songs for, Grey's Anatomy and like that was her level. And after she lost her job because the label changed direction or whatever, she started podcasting, and she has built her podcast in 4 years to 24 million downloads. Okay. Now she's teaching. But what her teaching is around this, it's not about, how can I say that? Marketing per se, but it's about showing up as you. Because we as us are so special in every single way that if we're not doing that, we're actually starving the world from something. And it made me think so much about the arts in general. I feel that there is no showing up authentically in the arts right now. Nothing hasn't been like that for a very long time. I feel performing arts belong to so many things, traditions, others' opinion and demands and wants and needs, versus having the guts and the determination to really go inwards and find themselves. Now, I understand that for a big organization, that is a harder thing to do, but it doesn't mean it's impossible, and it doesn't mean it can't be done.
Yeah. I totally agree. And that has been one of the very large reasons why it just feels right to not be a part of this more, because the more I became okay to not belong, and the more I became okay to be who I was, regardless of anyone or my upbringing or any of the things, the harder it was for me to feel like there was any resonance in being a part of this, in any capacity. And yeah, I completely agree with what you said. I would only just parrot back what you just said, that I feel the same way. The authenticity is absolutely not there.
I want to dive a little bit deeper, because I don't know if we find a solution or what the solution could look like. But how did we get here? She made a really, really great analysis. She said that it's about intimacy. And I felt myself like, what? No, intimacy is knowing each other, having a relationship, caring about each other. And I was like, okay, do companies nowadays, ballet companies for that matter, do they actually care about their audience? Like really deeply care? Are they interested? Are they giving love away for free? Or is the culture, well, you have to earn this before I can give you this? If you look at how an organization is set up, give us money so that we can perform.
Yeah.
Versus we have this to offer to you. We have this, we have all of this content. We could give it to you for free. And we would love if you give us some love back. That's the switch, I feel, the switch of perspective and just taking a step back and taking a breath and stop chasing and hunting and going into this Neanderthal behavior where me, where ego is your biggest overhead. She talked about, and this is just a little bit of base, but I'll find my way back. Talked about Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg. In the very beginning, one of her friends was part of the 40 people team, or the 2-3 people team. Okay. And Mark one day came into the room and said, you all going to be billionaires. This is going to be the biggest thing the planet has ever seen. And everybody in the room is like, we just learned, and it was at the point where they only had 40 people using the platform. We just learned that our virality number is 1, meaning one person is so enamored and so happy and so needs to be involved with this platform that they're telling one more person. And when in biology, coronavirus, and I think it was actually 1.3. That was the virality number. COVID's virality number was 1. And that is when, all the doctors and scientists put their hands up and say, we're lost, we're done, basically, because it spreads like wildfire. Like if one person has it, the next person's going to catch it. So have we ever looked at the arts and seen what is their impact and their virality number? Like, is somebody actually telling the person next to them, hey, you need to come with me and you have to see the show of Elvin Ailey or the New York City Ballet because it is just so good and it filled my heart and soul? No, it's a cause, it's a charity. We have moved away so much from the essence of the creation that there is no virality. It's to show your newest necklace. I see you're there. There's something that you want to say. Talk to me.
I'm just really resonating with all of this. I wrote down earn and chasing because so you're talking at the top, you're talking at who runs it, which there's always a trickle down effect. So that is why as performers, there's so much inauthenticity because there is so much ego, because you have to earn your way and you have to chase the next opportunity. Like all of those things, which again is just another reason, as I reflected on 15 years of a professional career, that's where the energy was for me. It was like I was always clawing my way to get somewhere and to prove something to someone and to like earn validity in, and I've said this before, earn validity in friendships, in popularity, in respect, because the more talent you have in this industry, you gain all of those things. And if you are looked at as less than in talent, skill, whatever, it literally embodies you as an entire person in this industry. Like your talent is reflected in who, like 100% in who you are as a person. So that means how much attention you get, how, all of those things. And so it really is that, but that is the setting and it happens from the top. And that is industry wide. It doesn't matter what area you are in this industry.
Yes. And you know what? Yes, it happens from the top, but it also happens from the bottom because we have become so intertwined that like it just literally can't exist without. Is Gary acting up?
I think we're gonna have a hairball situation. I just want to make sure he's fine.
Hey, I get it. It's a very hairy topic that we're talking about. Get it out, Gary.
Sorry, I just want to mute my mic so you can't hear this.
It's okay, I can't hear it. I'm distracted now with the hairball. But how beautiful is that? He's getting rid of something that isn't his. And isn't that what being authentic really means? Being who you are without all the things that we have encountered over the years. And I believe that since the arts are so vulnerable, because they're not standing on their own 2 legs, they don't know how to create. And let me right?
Yes.
We're saying we're creating all of this beauty, but the creation really truly happens in a box under very, very tight circumstances. And so many people are telling you what to create and how to create it. Nobody has the guts anymore to just put out something that perhaps could be mediocre, because there is no creating of beauty if you are not authentically going through the process. It's like going to your I don't know, cottage in the woods that has been empty for 6 months, and when you first turn on the faucet, What's coming out? It's all yellow. It's like leaves and it needs to run about a minute before the clear water comes out. Well, it's the same thing with creating. The same thing. You need to get rid of your gunk. And that means your personal development is essential, because the gunk that's in there will hold you back from the clear water flowing out of you. Oh, that was good. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Oh.
Well, and I feel like it does go back to that belonging, is that the reason why people aren't doing that is we instinctively all try to fit into molds. So at the same time as each company tries to act like they're authentically them, essentially they all are just falling into the pattern of the mold.
Mm. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. Do you know? Oh, yes. Okay. I have something to say to that.
Yes.
I mean, when we're talking about ego is the biggest overhead, and you're reading through their vision and their who we are and what we are, it's all about offering world-class service and nurturing the human spirit or emotions or whatever that is. And we are the best.
Yeah.
I don't care about your words. Show me. Show me that you can't stand on your own feet. Show me that you investing in your people and the people that are in the back row. Show me that you're innovating, that you're looking at the newest recovery possibilities that are out there. Show me that you're hiring the best nutritionists that are supporting your people. Show me that you are bringing in psychologists and physiotherapists that are there every single day, that there is no restriction on how many times an artist can go and see them. Show me. Stop talking about it. Show us. And then I believe that what is going to be created on the stage will reach a different level.
Yeah.
Then people, when they feel safe and are more authentically with themselves, then they can create something that was created, I don't know, 30, 40, 50 years ago. I mean, look at, let's take New York City Ballet. Look at what we're perpetually creating, Balanchine, over and over and over again. How much longer is that going to sustain itself? Literally. And I mean that with love, just because I'm a visionary. If I look 30 years down the road, my kids won't understand Serenade, even though it's beautiful, it's gorgeous to watch, but they won't understand. What is that? So what's your vision? Where are we going here? Are we keep dusting off these old ballets and following his leadership and his parameters? Or are you going to find the courage to reinvent yourself? ABT, two companies in the same city, they're going out of town, so they have, more viewers on their Nutcracker. Good for you. But what else are you making? What else are you creating? You're playing Nutcracker over and over and over again, and you're farming your beautiful dancers out into the world, and they're sitting on a bus and they're flying on a plane, and how are they being taken care of? Because high performing and traveling, it is such a different beast. Like, you got to know what you're doing. Like, tap into what Olympians are doing, tap into the world's best that have tried it out, and stop treating your company like it's a part-time thing.
Yeah. I've just always observed dancers just being last on the list everywhere in theater, but then also in companies too. We're expected to be at such an elite level, and there is so much asked of us, but then there's always felt so little appreciation for that. It's just expected without, any really much in return. You're just supposed to be happy with
What we're getting.
you get and what you get. Even last night, I didn't watch, but I saw some things on social media this morning. The Tony Awards were last night. And, every singer that's featured, gets publicly recognized. Like they get their name announced, who they are. They're acknowledged beyond just, the person that's on the stage. And the featured dancers you don't ever hear their names. You don't get them. They don't get announced. You don't know who they are. And it's always just felt so sad to me because the most dancers are so far from lazy because we can't be. They're so dedicated. They're so, every waking hour revolves around something to do with their career or their body or their something. And there's just it's just not held to the same recognition. And so that's really hard too. And I think that that's also why for dancers, it's really hard to be authentic in an atmosphere like that. Because that for me doesn't feel like, I'm going to use the word safe. It doesn't feel like a safe environment, a safe space for me to just show up, authentically as I am in that kind of setting.
Well, it's not safe.
Right.
100%. It's not
Right.
safe. However, waiting for, I don't know, the world to change. I could break out into a song right now. Start with yourself. Like start with asking yourself those hard questions and understanding that whatever you're learning is yours. Nobody ever can take that away from you without your permission, without you letting them do it. I think New York City Ballet was on the front page of the New York Times during the week. And there was like, I don't know, 100 messages deep, everybody being so elated around it, and comments, this is where the arts belong. This is where we always should be. Yeah, absolutely. Performing arts belong on the front page of every single newspaper, of every single news outlet, every single day. However, if you are not believing in yourself that you're worth of being there, you're not creating art or a product that is worth being there. Something that everybody can relate to, something that creates intimacy, and intimacy is created by authentically showing up, by creating a safe space. And if we're not doing that really essential part of, then you do not have a space on that front page, because nobody really wants to see you every day. Because why? Like I can go anywhere and see all the bullshit, and Gordon is going to cover that up, coming at you every single day. I don't need that on the front page.
Yeah.
What I want to see on the front page is truth. I want to see love. I want to see heart and soul, not something that's staged, something that's not courageous. And being authentic, like being fully yourself as an organization or as an individual, is highly courageous.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there you go, guys. Our thoughts around, being authentic or belonging. And we have that choice every single day, right? It's not something that somebody else gets to do for us. No, it's your choice.
Sorry. I was going to say that was a really, really hard wall for me to break through, it felt like. And it's just happens in the last year or so, where it's just like, if I'm not authentic, I'm going to burst, and I just can't hold back because I'm afraid of losing people, or if people, are going to be upset with me being me, or me speaking the way I want to, or any of those things. And I had to get to a point where it felt worse to not be authentic than to feel like I might lose everybody that I know because they just might not like who I really am, or like the way I think about things, or like the way I do things, whatever it is. And I've just risked that. I'm going to use that in quotes because I want to roll my eyes at that, because I feel better now. Even though that is the case in some senses of what happens, it was meant to be, because those people, if they don't resonate with who I am as me, then they're not for me. Like they're not. They were inauthentic relationships and situations from me being inauthentic. So I feel better now, and I'm happier now than just trying to be somebody to have more people like me.
Yeah, 100%. You know, there is such a attachment to have a lot of something in your life, meaning a lot of followers, a lot of fans, a lot of friends. And yeah, it's not the truth. It is quality over quantity a million times over and over and over again. They say she took the analysis of, let's say, Taylor Swift. Many people know her. Everybody that goes to her concert says, yeah, I've been to a concert. And then she takes the deathful, oh gosh. Yep. We may have to cut this out, Gigi, because I don't remember. It's a very famous band, the Something Dead. It's a cult. Which one?
Grateful Dead?
Yes, there we go. Yeah. So it's so niche that the people that are actually following them, they don't just go to one concert. They go to all concerts. They don't only own one record. They own all of them. They don't only talk about it once and how the music makes them feel, but they talk about it every day, and their virality number is 1, meaning that yes, they had less fans, but they made so much more money because of the people being completely invested, because they really truly cared about their fans. They have established the intimacy in between them and their audience. And that is where the magic lies. That's where this ego of the arts, the elite, we're better and we're here. And I mean that with love as well. If you feel offended, great. Tell me why you feel offended. It's so obvious to me now that all of this arrogance is put into, it's not coming from a loving way. It's not coming from here to serve. It's, I'm here and I need to let this in. I'm an artist. Let that all go, because it is not about you. Yes, you get to create and you get to do what you love to do, but who are you serving and why are you serving them? And are the 2 questions that need to be asked over and over and over again. And I strongly believe if that would be a culture in a company, people wouldn't perform 8 times during 7 days and have 1 day off, and would get paid $34,000 a year for that kind of work. Because it just doesn't align. It doesn't fit. We would start asking even more questions. Like, how can we do this differently? Why is it this way? Do you know what I mean? And I hope you all can follow me. I know this is all super fresh for me particularly, but it's the ego that is so heavy. And I haven't really overhead. We have been referring to it so often. Overhead are the costs that you're paying to run your business, for example. Okay. It's like rent or advertisement, healthcare. These are all your overhead costs. And when we're saying egos are our biggest overhead, what we're referring to is actually that all our fears and limiting beliefs, that's our overhead. And it literally costs us more than healthcare or taking care of 1,000 people will ever cost us monetary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, how can we tie a bow here? You're so quiet today, Christy.
Well,
Like,
it's because everything that you're saying is basically what I wanted to say on this topic. So it would be like, all right, I'm just going to parrot back what she said, because how I feel. So, all right, how can I wrap this up? Well, like I said before, I feel like you have to get into a space where you recognize the inauthenticity and it makes you uncomfortable to start being that way. It took me a long time to get there. And even when I thought I was starting to be more authentic, I was still completely dimming myself or shutting my mouth about certain things or around certain groups of people or any of that. And it literally had to get to a point for me. And that was from me just firstly, this whole thing started years ago because I was seeking more peace, because my anxiety was so just intolerable to a crippling point at that point, that I just knew that if I didn't change, I was going to have massive ramifications, like on a physical level. And just, I couldn't stand being in my own mind anymore. So that's how this whole thing started. And I unfortunately feel like we have to get to a place where we're that uncomfortable to see that there's something more. So that's where it started for me. And so, as I started to do that, it then got to the point where I finally was starting to be authentic in some situations, and it started to feel really good and a lot less weighted. And then it had to still process to the point where it was like, if I am not myself all the time, I'm going to burst. So I really feel like there's stages to this. And I feel like you have to find the discomfort in being closeted, really, in who you are and feeling like you can't be who you are. And then you have to decide what's best for you and what's more uncomfortable. And if it's more uncomfortable to not be you, it's to then stand tall and be okay to start showing up more as you, regardless of what other people are going to say, and find a way to embody that in those environments too. And perhaps you might have a trickle effect. There might be a little like spark that might spread to other people, because that's how I feel now. I feel like I am a spark, and I'm feeling called to spark in another setting. If you still feel called to spark in this setting, in that environment, then spark there. And the people that you think might shun you for being yourself, you might actually give them the allowance to do it for themselves.
wow, leave that right there. And on a side note, if people are really judging you and shunning you for being you, they only do that because really, truly, they wish they could be there too.
Yeah. They're uncomfortable with something in themselves, and you're like a mirror to that for them.
And I think that's why there is so much yelling and screaming sometimes in the studios.
Yeah.
Because of all the baggage the people in front of you have acquired, and they have not yet put that baggage down.
Well, and they haven't put it down, and they're deciding generationally to put the baggage on you, because that's
Yeah.
what
Right.
it's not their baggage that they have, and now they're going to pass it to you. That's anybody. I mean, anything or anyone that triggers something in you is in you. They're just the catalyst for you to find that.
Well, guys, thank you so much for sticking with us. This was a long birth today. We're sending you so much love. The way you can help us grow this platform to get our messages out there more over would be by sharing your biggest takeaway on Instagram. I can't wait. We can't wait to see what's coming up for you. And I want to mention at that point, I know it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to actually sit with what is coming in and then speaking to it, and know that that's your authentic self showing up. That's your discovery of who you are. Even that step is how you can make a difference, and how you can start in yourself and for others to find a better way on how we can do this thing, arts, life, anything really. Yeah. So we are going to talk to you next week, sending you so much love, and have a great rest of your week. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for listening. If this message resonates with you, please pass it on to someone who needs to hear this right now. And if you like what you've heard, your feedback will go a very long way. If you just take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review, that would mean the world to me. Till next time, point at yourself to rise to all that you are capable of.